Hi guys, it's Wednesday at 8 o'clock and we haven't had a Giorgio for what, 3 weeks or so. I'm sorry, I did it all of last year, every week, more or less, and I'm a bit knackered. And so I'm just doing special ones with very special people now. Not the all the other guys weren't special, but this week we are incredibly lucky because we have got Davinia Taylor, and she contacted me about 6 months ago and said, "Oh, I've got a friend who's got a dog who's got this, this, and this." And so we had a bit of a chat, and then she invited me to do some Instagram TVs with her, and then that was really fun, and we got on really well.
Yeah, I mean, I think she is edging on the side of keto, actually, you know, but she's taken on tons of advice. She got the books that you said. Yeah. I got the books as well. And you know, because animals, I didn't realize, because I'm a new mum. My dogs are just one now. And, you know, it's a new world for me. And I think of them as my children. I'm like, she's scratching to get in. Can you give me a minute?
Yeah. Let her in.
Let's have a look. She can hear you, I think.
Let's have a look.
Come on in your car, it's Chico. Hello.
Hello, Chico.
Hello, darling. They've just had a bath. They've been outside.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
Digging up the garden and everything. So they've just been cleansed. So yeah, I'm like a new mum, and it's all very new to me. And yeah. I really don't know who to trust. A little bit like the medical world for humans, you know. Yeah. It's a very, very sort of divisive arena. And, you know, meeting someone like yourself, who I think has a similar ethos to me with food, basically species appropriate.
Yes.
It all makes common sense to me now, you know.
Of course it is.
It really does.
So how are you getting on? They're a year old now.
They're a year
old. How are you getting on? Have you got any queries, any worries, anything?
Okay, so he's been snipped. Is that the right word? He's been snipped because he was running off all the time, and basically I was just advised that was a good thing to do. Okay. He's also had a broken hip when he fell off our roof in Spain. So he's been through the mill, bless him, but he's still quite a chipper guy. Okay. But she has had her first season. Okay. Now, around here, there's a lot of dog napping, like everyone's saying it. Yeah. And even just where I live, it's just at the bottom of a fell. We live in North Lancashire. Yeah. And somebody's lab got kidnapped. It was off the lead and got kidnapped in a van and bundled off. And you're in a lovely area in the Ribble Valley, you know. So it's rife. And apparently it's because they're able to produce puppies. Yeah. They're kidnapped for breeding. So would I be wise in getting her spayed or what? Well,
I mean, that's one of the arguments for or against getting her spayed. The thing is, if she was spayed, they wouldn't know until they had a really good look at her. And they're not going to do that just on the side of the road. They wouldn't be kind of feeling for a scar. They would get her in the car and drive off as soon as possible. And if they found out she was spayed, I don't know, they'd give her away. I've seen 1 or 2 dogs who've been dumped, and maybe they are pinched because they look good, but they look, and if it's a boy, they have a feel. It's like, oh, no balls, right? Well, we'll just chuck him out of the car. Yeah. Hopefully they do that nicely. But with girls, you know, if you've got a very delicate surgeon, or you've got somebody who's gone in, you've got a laparoscopic spay, then they may not find that, and how are they going to know? So that's a difficult one. I think the question of whether we should neuter or not it's kind of a pros and cons thing, as with everything in life. Everything in veterinary medicine, everything in life, come to that. But so what are the pros, what are the cons, what outweighs what? So if they are about equal, they're about 50-50, except when you add it all up, there is a slight advantage to neutering girls, and there is a slight advantage to not neutering boys. And I'm not saying that because I'm a boy. Yeah. So
I wish someone had neutered me, I'll be honest with you. I've got 4 boys upstairs just causing mayhem.
I know. Children, the ultimate contraceptive.
Get a telly. It was pre-Netflix, so.
So there's but in order to find those kind of figures, you need to look at 1,000, 10,000 dogs. So for any given individual, really, there's pros and cons. You know, if you neuter them, you might get problems. If you don't neuter them, you might get problems. I think with Chico, you were probably wise, because if he runs off and goes under a bus, then that's game over.
I mean, having said that, he does still run off. They both have no recall. It is phenomenal how they don't listen still. And you know, they could never be off the lead. They're like greyhounds.
Oh, wow.
And you know, so we're gonna go camping with him this weekend. It's a one-night trial run, and they're going to be tethered, you know, with like the screw-in thing. I mean, they sleep with us anyway. You know, it's not like we have them as unloved animals, but it's just for their own safety. Otherwise, I'm going to see me running across Ambleside screaming their names at 4 a.m. and then we're going to go get her off the campsite.
It will be great exercise.
Well, this is what I run for, isn't it? So just in case I have to chase 2 Podencos over the Lake District.
Wow. Have you seen that? There's the video on YouTube of the guy chasing his dog called Fenton on Hampstead Heath, isn't it?
Oh, Christ! Jesus Christ. And there's just a deer. Oh, my God. That's exactly what we're like. I mean, we've got, like, sheep everywhere. I've gone to introduce them to all the farmers and just go, look, they're just maniacs. They're not out to kill your sheep. But, you know, they've got a right to shoot the dog if they get out. Fortunately, they're not sheep crazy. They're more rabbit crazy. So, you know, they kind of, But it's a worry. She got out this morning. This is before the school run, you know. We're in the neighbour's garden, dressing gowns covered in nettles. And it's hello, Chica, talking about you.
Come
and say hello.
The woman herself.
Oh, here she is.
Say hello.
Here she is, that girl.
Here she is. Oh, she'd get on really well with my girls. Really well.
Who is it?
Wow, look at those ears. Wow,
I know. She's so expressive.
What's happening in the next county?
But you can't hear her name when I shout it. So
yeah, she can.
Another thing I really am interested in. So it's a 50-50 split with the spaying, right? He can't get her pregnant, so that was kind of my worry, and I didn't want him to run off as much, you know. So if I don't have to put her under anaesthetic, I won't do really. And she doesn't, you know, meet other dogs. She isn't off the lead, so maybe we won't get a spay. But can you tell me about worming and fleeing and all these like basic sort of maintenance things? Easy
peasy. Okay. Yeah. What was I going to say? There was just, you said about you weren't going to get her done now. Oh, I was going to say, I'm not going to do either of my girls. Bluebell is 2 years old. She's entire. Mouse is 6 months old. She's going to stay entire just because, you know, I in the old days when dogs kind of roamed around a bit more, I think that there was an incentive to snip them so that you didn't get many puppies. But nowadays, I think the world is a very different place. There's more roads, there's more cars, and people just look after their dogs a whole lot more.
Yeah, people used to put the dog out, didn't they? I'm thinking, wow, that was crazy. There used to be packs of dogs.
Yeah.
And they chased you, but you never get that now.
And in Scandinavia and in Germany, it's illegal to neuter a dog. That's to castrate a boy or to do a hysterectomy on a girl. Okay, it's illegal in Germany because it's considered mutilation. Okay, so that just shows you that the things have changed. In the old days, it was like you neuter to prevent puppies, but nowadays, in Scandinavia they don't. And I think in the whole of Sweden, there's only one puppy sanctuary. Yeah, which just shows you how less a problem they have with puppies.
Wow, I mean, they're pretty forward thinking in Scandinavia. Anyway.
They are.
You know, they're more of a holistic approach to everything, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So good. Okay, so so it's really easy. Worms is really easy. What I do is I send poo samples from my girls off to worm count every 3 months or so.
Right.
And I ask for lungworm and roundworm and what have you. Wormcount.com, can't go wrong. Because otherwise you're giving a pharmaceutical to a dog when they may not even have worms. And I think that's not right. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that must play havoc with the microbiome, right?
Totally.
Just doing that, because you are actually meant to have certain parasites in you for protective reasons.
You are technically, but some of the parasites that dogs get can really do nasty things.
So you need to earmark which ones which one's a which. I mean, would I be right in thinking it's just like an antibiotic and just gets rid of the lot?
Yeah, if you use a broad spectrum wormer, then it will get rid of the lot, and it will tinker with your microbiome. I'm not sure whether much work has been done there, but it's, why use a drug when you don't need to? Okay,
Yeah.
So I would suggest wormcount.com, and that's what we use. We also use for our lot. I'll show you. We use. Oh, hang on, that's the old packaging. I'll show you the new packaging. We use Vermex. It's just a herbal preparation. It's good for very good for the microbiome, and as a side effect, it can help with worms. So that's the worm side of things. Dead easy. Wormcount.com. And as regards fleas and ticks, okay, this is another easy one. If you haven't got fleas or ticks, don't use a pesticide, because essentially that's what they are. Yeah. So if you put a pesticide on or in the dog, you're putting a pesticide in everyone in the whole household, because you're very close to them. Yeah. You're close to them. They lick you and all this kind of stuff. So don't use a pesticide if you don't have to. If you're in an area with a lot of ticks, then there are things that you can do. Okay, fleas you can see. Yeah, so I'm saying if you get fleas, give me a ring and we'll work something out. But with ticks, if you're in a very ticksy area and you've got a dog, some dogs get a lot of ticks, some dogs don't get a lot of ticks. Just like some people get bitten by midges, some people don't. Yeah, it's to do with skin microbiome and makeup of your skin oils and all that kind of thing. So if you've got if you're in a ticky area or you've got a ticky dog, I would suggest you use something like Billy No Mates, or there's a new one from Proflax called Get Off Me. Okay, and basically, yeah, and they're garlic and lemongrass and fenugreek and bits and pieces, herbs, put in the food, and you put them in from about Easter to about October during the flea and the tick season, and off you go. They will make the dogs less attractive to fleas.
And would that be just because of their aroma or whatever?
Yeah. So it's like you have a really good curry one night, and then after that you smell of curcumin. Yeah, you have turmeric. Yeah. Great, fabulous. So that's one. So on the outside, there's two products that we use. Number one is called Cedar Side. Cedar, like the tree. Yeah. Cedar Side, like pesticide, but made from cedar trees. And that's a spray. So if you've got big dogs, that's very good, because that's quite economic. But the other one, which is really nice, which is made by my wife, is called. She runs a company, a dog soap company, where she does makes the soaps with essential oils, and she does an insect defense spray with cedar. And let me go and get one. I'll show you in a second.
That would have been good for me before I went camping, really, I guess, wouldn't it?
What, to spray the dogs?
Yeah, I should have had some spray, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I think if you may not order, if you order some Cedar Side from Amazon now, it might be here in time for the weekend.
I mean, they cause a whole heap of environmental problems, but Amazon are bloody good when you need something. Flipping heck. Oh, that's half my rubbish. I've got tons of boxes. Salut. There she is. Oh, ground up pumpkin seeds. That's a nice idea.
There you go.
Oh, right. Someone's just said furry rabbit ears are great for cleaning the gut if there are eggs.
Furry rabbit ears do have that reputation, and we use them anyway. So for your guys, get some furry rabbit ears. Really brilliant.
Oh my God, they love that. They've never caught a rabbit in their lives, bless them.
What?
My dogs, they've never caught anything more than a shrew, I'm afraid. They think they're hunters. That's nice. Okay. Insect defense spray. Derma dog. Right, okay. Lemongrass.
Yeah. Lemongrass, rose geranium, and cedar wood. Good beer. Good beer. We use it on the kids.
Do you?
Use this on the kids, yeah.
Great. So would that keep nits away?
Yeah, probably would. We also use this on the kid. In fact, I use this not necessarily the itchy. She does other ones. So any bars that get a ding go into the shower. Okay, so this is the itchy bar, and she's got a calm bar just for general use and things as well.
That's really good. Oh, I'll get some of those. They're really
nice. Check it out. Check it out. That's me blatantly.
Yeah, well, you know what's gone in them, so it's fine. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's your wife. You know there's integrity behind it, so who cares if you know them?
We use them for the children, therefore they're good enough for the dogs. That's for sure. So listen, just tell me a little bit about why you went to Raw and what you've seen about Raw, and then I'd like to ask you about your lovely book. Oh, it's not a diet,
which isn't actually Raw, but anyway.
No, it's not. But we're humans, so.
So obviously, I knew nothing about appropriate feeding for dogs. I just did what the vet said. Went for kibble. It's easy. It's basically convenience food, isn't it? You know, it doesn't mess up the bowls. You know, it's cheap, and I wasn't thinking. I mean, I've been so focused on my own health and that of the kids.
I know.
I just assumed, like we all do, that the vet was a little bit more, I don't know, wiser than I. Anyway, after that statistic you told me about cancer coming down to virtually 3% over and above, was a 52% chance of cancer, that just says it. And I think that should apply to humans as well, because at the moment we're 50-50 chance of getting it. So there's something we're doing very wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll move on to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But with the raw food, she's really good on it, actually. She's less fussy than him, which surprises me.
Okay.
But they really enjoy it. They love taking there's a cash and carry near us. And my friend who had the dog with cancer, she goes there and she gets raw food, and it's like big chunks of beef, like big fat chunks of beef. And you can still see the fur on it from the cow. And they literally, and it's about this thick and this wide, and they take it outside, and it's like they've got a lolly ice.
Yeah.
And they sit there and they chew it, and they're so happy. And that's what we're doing when we go camping. We're going to take a few big frozen bones. Brilliant. And still with all the meat on, and Brilliant. We'll take it up there and we'll just let them gnaw on it, tethered up, and they're just so happy. And touch wood, they don't have wind. They don't, nothing like they used to. They don't smell as much. I mean, they're still maniacs, don't get me wrong. That's not changed. They still bugger off.
Yeah.
But, they don't smell doggy, if you know what I mean. And, he used to have terrible wind, young Chico.
Right.
Woo,
yeah.
House out, you know. It just shows you that it wasn't suiting his gut, all those carbohydrates, all the process. I mean, what do they bind it with? Do they use veg oil?
It's the carbs that bind it. Yeah. What you do is you get some meat meal, which is, you know, some rendered stuff that was rendered and stored a year ago. You mix it with a load of carb. You then pump steam through it. You heat it and cool it about 6 times. Can you imagine what that does to the quality of everything?
Yeah.
And then you dry it, spray it with fats, mainly vegetable fats, and you add a few minerals and vitamins and put it in a bag. That's how you make.
And so again, it's like Kellogg's cornflakes.
It's
the marketing, isn't it? Yeah, it's fortified with vitamins. But I was talking to Tim Spector, and he said to me, if you get a magnet in a bowl of cereal, you can actually, because it's fortified with iron, you can actually get iron shavings out of it. That's the fortification that they use, iron shavings. And this is Professor Tim Spector. It's not me being a lunatic, or, you know, this is a guy with a proper education. You know, he's at King's. So I was just flabbergasted that they can get away with putting that on our marketed at children, you know, cereals fortified with iron, making you think you're making a sensible choice. So imagine what they're getting away with our animals, who to me are just like my children, you know? Yeah,
it's criminal. I think what's criminal is the mindset that allows us to feed ultra processed food, which hasn't worked for humans for the last 70 years. So why on earth is it going to work for our dogs? I just did a post like that this morning. I just get it bubbles up in me like this, and then I have to do a post just get it out of my system.
No, but you're right. It's the same rhetoric, isn't it? And it's because we have such trust in the powers that be. But the powers that be are the guys on the private jets and the super yachts who I can guarantee are not eating processed food.
Yes.
They're just CEOs of major companies like Unilever. You know what I mean? We're talking Kraft, Mars, Coca-Cola. There's like 5 big companies that look after the whole world's food. Yeah. And I guarantee the same ingredients are used in pet food as are used in human food. You know, it's just the same. It's massive, 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 massive.
It's a disaster. And I really don't think they care about your health.
No. I mean, it's all about margins and profit line and, you know, convenience and speed. And I think we've all kind of turned a bit of a blind eye to it because it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm really busy and stuff. But I'd rather not eat than give myself a food hangover or risk cancer, you know, and have precious animals. I mean, and just quickly, how often do animals have to eat? Because I know that we are a community, 21st century people, of snackers. We snack.
Bad idea.
And we're always at it, aren't we? Yeah. Can you just clarify, if I'm busy in the kitchen, are they peckish? Or are they just, is that primal instinct? Are they hungry in the morning?
They're dogs. They're scavengers. They're always hungry. We feed ours. Well, we feed Bluebell once a day, and the baby we're feeding twice a day because she's only 6 months old. But by the time she's a year, she'll be on once a day feeding because that's intermittent. Which you mentioned in the book. It's intermittent fasting basically because dogs are like supermodels. They've been hungry. They're hungry all their lives. Yeah, you know. Remember, Julia
start drinking Diet Coke and smoking. You know what I mean? That's just gonna look.
No, but remember Julia Roberts in Notting Hill.
Yeah.
You know, I've been hungry all my life. You know, same. Dogs are exactly the same. Dogs are exactly the same. So they will, and if you want to give them a little veggie here or there, it doesn't really matter. But I think one main meal a day for most dogs. Only the ones with really deep chest, like the Danes and things, that maybe you have to give them 2 meals because they do have an increased risk of twisting the gut. But little skinny things like yours and mine, they don't tend to get twisted guts.
So larger dogs. So I mean, I once years ago now, I was still married. I got a Newfoundland in central London.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I called her Mouse, actually.
Okay,
right. And then she started getting bigger and bigger. In the end, she went to my sister-in-law and had a lovely, lovely life up in Manchester. Okay. And my ex-sister-in-law was animal crazy, you know. Right. I mean, Mouse had a much better life than partying with me and David. But I wonder, how do you know how much to feed an animal if, you know, because sometimes bigger dogs don't necessarily need tons of food, do they? Do they? Is it on a kilogram? What is it?
It's a really easy one. It's 2 to 3% of body weight. So, Chica, there, what does she weigh? Like 14?
Oh, yeah, if that, yeah.
Okay, so if she weighs 14 kilos, 1% of that is 140, 2% is 280. Yeah, so she will be on about 280, 300 grams per day of food. Bish bosh. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, we generally feed them when we eat. So I start eating when the kids get home. Yeah. I mean, bearing in mind, I still have calories, but I don't physically, you know, munch on food and settle down and get myself all sleepy until, and then that's when they eat as well. But in the meantime, if I've got the kids in the morning and I've cooked, say, some egg or something like that, they'll have a bit of what's left over of the scrambled egg. And then they're kind of done. They'll go to school as well, and they'll run in school. Right. And they'll come back and they'll be ravenous, and then they'll get more meal, and then they'll have a bit more of a play, and then they'll slump in front of the TV, and then they'll just follow me to bed. Right. And then kick me out of bed.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of breakfast, but the thing is, breakfast, you know, dogs and humans back in the day wouldn't eat until midday because you've got to go and hunt it or gather it. Yeah. So I would be, you know, a little bit of scrambled egg here and there is neither here nor there. It's nothing. All right. But just if you want the icing on the cake, it would be don't feed until after midday. Feed at variable times during the day. Yeah. So sometimes it's 2 o'clock, sometimes it's 6 o'clock, sometimes it's 10 o'clock. Sometimes not at all. Fast day.
How old would they be to fast, just to be clear?
Well, they're mature now. She's just had her first season. So I would say be thinking about going down to one meal, 3-4 months, something like that. You know, if basically Bluebell chose it herself. She just kind of went off breakfast, and so we just feed her one meal in the evening, and then boom, she's good with that.
Okay,
basically.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't panic because of all the research I've done on the great benefits of autophagy, and I understand now that more food isn't actually better. In fact, it can be really inflammatory, and so I'm not at all, because obviously I'm born in the 70s, raised in the 80s, and it's all about quick, you've got to eat more, come in, you're not leaving until you finish what's on your plate, and then you have dessert, and it's just all mad, you know. Massive overconsumption and really bad habits, and almost like a fear that you're not eating enough, you know. And like, bloody hell, I'm overweight, I'm still eating.
I know. Well, it is mad, isn't it? That's a whole thing, isn't it? The leptin and obesity and all that stuff. Listen, let's talk about the book. It's not a diet. I love it. Tell you what, I love it. I'm not a big one for celebrities, but what I like about you is your honesty and your humility and your enthusiasm. Yeah,
I'm very enthusiastic about this. So.
You're very honest, you're very humble, and you're very enthusiastic. And that's a really great combination. And that really comes through in the book. And why did you write it? I bet you've been asked that about 1,000 times in the last.
No. I mean, it's quite a reasonable question, because I didn't set out to write a book or anything. I'm definitely not a writer. You know, I'm an actor by trade, and that's where I've always enjoyed having a career. And well, basically, I'm a mum, really. You know, I've not worked for years. I mean, wrong, being a mum is bloody hard work, and it's far underpaid. But I started doing Instagram. A friend of mine at the school gates was asking, and I'd lost a ton of weight. You know, I'd de-bloated, and I'd signed up to do marathons, and she'd watch me. You know, we've had kids, and she's like, "How have you done this? What are you doing? And you know, why are you eating that? And why are you putting oil in your coffee?" And it was just a regular brunch for me, you know. And I started explaining to her about my daily sort of regimes and biohacks. And she's like, "Why don't you just put that on Instagram?" I said, "Oh no, I mustn't do Instagram. You'll compare and despair. You're not meant to do social media. No, it's bad for you. It's bad, you know." So I never even ventured onto social media, and I don't do anything else really apart from Instagram, because I'm, as you know, not very technical. But I just started documenting what I was doing, and of course, somehow the Mail Online picked it up when they saw the before and after, and I was only putting it out there not for attention, just because this is what I did to get from A to B. I'm 40 odd, and you know, this doesn't necessarily have to be the trajectory of your physical and mental state. It's not written in stone that as soon as you hit middle age, you get the middle age spread. So, but the Mail picked up on it, and then so I got a bit more traction. But during the last lockdown, back in summer, the last summer, I got approached by a writer. I was just, a publisher who said, you know, would you fancy putting this in order? I've been following you, but I can't sort of like navigate where to start first. So it was basically, you know, out of her own interest. She said, I need something tangible. I need a, you know, a day 1, 2, and 3, and I need to understand why you're doing it, because my Instagram's all over the place. I mean, all the information's in there, but I just load it whenever, and I think, oh, I must do that, and I'll put that up, and it's all very scatty. It's all very me, you know. So I said, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And then lo and behold, it's at number 2 in the Sunday Times bestsellers, which is ridiculous, you know. Brilliant. But I'm really happy that it's been so well sort of accepted, because like I've said many times, you know, I'm not a doctor. I'm certainly not a professor, but I would say I'm a curator, and I've spent enough money and wasted enough time on medicines and quackery to be able to fast track people now. And I've got really good people in that book. You know, like I mentioned, I've got Tim Spector in there. I've got nutritionists. I've got geneticists. I've got, you know, people way beyond my mental capacity, but I've managed to pull some of their great information, like Kate Shannon, you know, the writer of Deep Nutrition, Dr. Kate Shanahan. She is incredible, and she was the one who got me alerted to the phenomenon and the inflammatory phenomenon that is vegetable oil and seed oil. And like you said, it's in the dog's food as well. I think we might have like a precursor to cancer there, right there.
Right there.
It cannot be sugar after. I mean, I think sugar is bad.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but forgive me for being naive and just sort of playing down the evolutionary process, but we've always had sugar in our diet, in our body. We've always had fruit. We've always had honey. I think
no, we haven't though, because you only have fruit in season, and that's
but this is it. But what I mean is, it is an ingredient. Sugar is an ingredient. The body can go, okay, you can burn that off, you know.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't understand is veg oil and seed oil. It's machinery lubricant that's only been introduced in the 50s, you know. So I think that is so detrimental to our cell walls and cell integrity.
Yeah.
That I think that's something that we really need to cut out of our diet, and I think we would drive down some of the most chronic diseases we've got, particularly depression. I feel depressed after I've had seed oil. Wow. I'm very in tune with my body now. I can. Hello, Chico. Oh, he's here now.
Tell us what oils. So I completely agree. I think that refined vegetable oils are, you might as well smoke. Yeah.
Yes.
Unless you give them up, you might as well smoke. It's that bad. Yeah. I.e., one McDonald's is not going to kill you, but if you keep on being exposed to those seed oils, those vegetable oils, they will kill you categorically. Yeah. Okay. And Deep Nutrition by Kate Shanahan is the one to read. Okay, so what oils do you use? So, what oils do you not use?
Can you get down, darling? Thank you. You're very, very pretty. And very.
You've got a list in the book if you want to grab it.
Yeah. So she basically the oils I look out for, because it's all about reading the label, because they're not going to advertise it on the front, but spin everything around.
Yeah.
And if you see sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, in America they call it canola. So if you're buying over there or you've imported something, look out for canola. They're the two biggies, or veg oil, the generic veg oil.
Yeah.
So if you see those, put it down. You're going to be really surprised where you find it, in the most obscure places. I mean, I've got this stuff upstairs. It's called the pink stuff, and it gets any stain out. I've got a pair of trainers up there that are black. They're meant to be white. I put the pink stuff on it. It was invented. You get it in Aldi. It's like this pink sludge. You put it on, and it lifts out all the dirt out your trainers. Your trainers will be bright white again. Primary ingredient, veg oil.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is what we're ingesting. This is in really expensive granolas, you know, that you pay £5 for because it's healthy and it's, it's full of all these whole grains. It's full of sunflower oil. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in these alternative milks. You know, you think you're being clever because you're being vegan or whatever, and you're just putting more of this crazy stuff into you. But I didn't realize the ferocity of how inflammatory it is until I cut it out. And then as soon as I have it, boom, I can feel it. So there's a little hack that I've got. So if you go out for dinner or you decide you're going to have a takeaway or something like that, if you take chlorella, which is a green algae, it's massively absorbent and it binds onto those oils and it won't let you absorb them. So you take a ton of those. It's a really, really good one, chlorella.
Take me through that. So what? You take a teaspoon of that in some
they come in.
water?
I've got any here. They come out in tiny tablets.
Okay.
Tiny tablets. They're bright green chlorella. You can get them in Holland and Barrett. You can get them online. There's a lady who does a really nice bottle. She's called Susie Who, and she has a lovely glass bottle. And then she'll send you packets to fill it up. But they're beautiful and they're bright green. See how you? So they are vegan friendly, and it's almost a complete protein as well. But it is really absorbent.
It's like spirulina, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's great for these veg oils.
And you just pop a few of those before you go out?
Yeah, I'll do like probably 5 to 10. They're only tiny. Chuck them down your neck, glass of water. Tastes a bit like swamp. Yeah, but the tablets, and then probably 5 or 10 after as well.
Okay, and that's when you go out, when you can't control the fats.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all about profit. The cheapest oil in the world, veg oil. So they're not exactly, unless they're going to really crow about it. Trust me, the restaurant is cutting corners. They have to, you know, it's all profit margin. So. Yeah,
very much so. I mean, I find that you can avoid it if you're clever at home. But avoiding it out, you know, if you eat out or if you go, you know, you get a sandwich or anything, it's all stuffed with seed oil. And
I mean, so is margarine. So margarine's made from it, and spreadable butter. So Lurpak They've got a really good, nice salted butter, but the spreadable one, that's the one you want to avoid. Or, I mean, it is convenient, but what's so difficult about putting grass-fed butter in a dish next to you? I know it's getting warmer, but come on, we're not living in the tropics. It's not going to turn to oil.
What's convenient about a heart attack?
Yeah, that can really ruin your day. So I hear, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that is, I mean, in Kate's book, you know, that seems to be the direct correlation with heart disease was on the upward trajectory back in the 50s when we started using this vegetable oil on an industrial scale, and the usage goes up exactly at the same arc, you know. And it's fascinating that the government haven't gone, hang on, we need to take this out. It's causing some issues, but they won't.
I think industry.
And they won't do it for 20 years. And I'm like, I've not got 20 years for someone to tell me something. I figured it out for myself. Well, obviously a professor has. I've just read the work, and I'm just going to like keep it away from my kids. Yeah,
but you know what? Industry have got a foot on the neck of government, I think, and they're really holding them down. Okay, listen. In the book, you say that you eat nose to tail. Have you tried tripe?
No, I tell you what I've got here, though. This is what I mean. I've got these. Oh, here you go.
Oh, what are they? Oh, heart.
Yeah, these are hearts. So this is by a company called Hunter and Gather. And this is because I'm a bit squeamish, you know. I am. I mean, liver I can do. I can do liver note because it turns into a pate. It goes on sourdough toast, and it's all very 1980s and civilized. Yeah. But there you go. So this is freeze-dried Icelandic sheep heart, and they also have a brain one coming out, and they also have, so basically you just have a capsule of it.
Okay. Do they have
it goes down your neck, and it's like a full portion of a heart. So I'm finding that a bit more palatable. So when I eat nose to tail, I'm not quite as hunter-gathery as I'd like to make out. But
what about ox tongue? Because Kate Shanahan talks about tongue a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. Now, what I'm going to do, because we're coming up to barbecue season, I was mentioning to you before, we've got this big slab. It's a massive, it's about this big. So it's about 1 foot wide and maybe 30 centimeters. And it's a big chunk of Himalayan rock salt. I think it's about 60 quid. Anyway, we've had it for a few years. You shove it on top of a barbecue, and then you put any meat on there, and it tastes incredible. And you feel a little bit, you know, like a Viking. So I'm going to start. There's a really nice organic butcher's near me called Gazegill, and I've asked them to get me some of their more adventurous cuts, and we're going to start marinating them and putting them on the salt slab, and we're going to take it from there and just sprinkle rocket on it and just make it look all restauranty. But if you put it in a restaurant and charge me 30 quid, I'd eat it. I'd go, oh, it's fabulous. But because it's like the cheaper cut and, you know, it's a little bit gruesome, I'm like, oh. But, you know,
it does take a bit of getting used to, doesn't it? I mean, liver. I had Ellie made chicken liver pate today, so absolutely amazing. So it's just butter and liver blended up, and you know, in the old days that would be a recipe for disaster. They'd say, "Oh my God, there's too much saturated fat."
You have a heart attack, but you're like, this is the most nutrient dense food on the planet.
Totally,
you know, and it gets chucked. Like beef liver gets chucked all the time, and it's literally wasted. And I mean, this is what we need to get back in the schools. You know, this is what we're giving our kids, not beige food. But we've sort of like ruined their palates with pizza and like, well, basically they have party food. You know, when you used to go to a kid's party, they have that every day. And it's like, how do you get them back? You know, I mean, school dinners shouldn't exactly be a party, right? They should just be really nutritious.
Good nutrition. Yeah, totally. Wow.
So, but you know, I mean, I always I chop liver, well, I blend liver and I put it into like a spaghetti bolognese vibe. I mean, I don't really give, I just like, I spike their food all the time. So I will say if they're having a drink or something, I'll always whack some bovine collagen in it. It dissolves into nothing. If I say I'm doing a soup or something, it will always have collagen put in it. I mean, at the base will always be bone broth. I'm trying my best to just spike their food, like a little sneaky nutrition sort of hit every opportunity. The dogs get bone broth. You know, all the time. I'm just trying to give it every opportunity. And even if we're like late, I'll make them a smoothie, but I'll chuck a load of collagen in there.
Yeah,
and, you know, bovine collagen, it's almost a complete protein. There's like 20 amino acids in there. About 9 of them are essential.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is just in bloody something that's sweet like apple juice. So it really they shouldn't be having because it's sugar. But they want it because their mates have it. So I'm just spiking it with a little bit of collagen.
Genius. And the value of bone broths, I never realized. I mean, I always knew, but something about Kate Shanahan, because she says it again and again and again and again and again.
It's the best
really
read.
Drives
it really is, doesn't it? It does. She is like, I mean, she's pretty out there, but it makes so much sense, doesn't it, when you read that?
And it's a cradle to grave thing. Basically, you should give it to your kids, your teenagers, your granny. Everybody should get lots of it all the time.
But ancient man did, didn't they?
Of course they did.
It was always like on the pot, you know. I mean, I'm being stupid here. Like if you watch like a Quest for the Holy Grail or some sort of Monty Python, there's always some woman and a hag in the background with a bowl of soup, isn't there? You know what I mean? But it was always on the go, and I'm trying to sort of recreate that, being a hag in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can freeze this stuff. You know, you don't have to. And do you know what? There's another really good company called Planet Paleo.
Yeah.
Who have got bone broth, chocolate flavored.
Wow.
I know. So you've got all the nutrition, but you can whack it in a smoothie. And if you want it, I mean, I'm not adverse. People say, oh my God, you can't put bananas in smoothies because it's sugar. Shut up. It's a banana. It's much better than having artificial sweeteners. Give me my banana with my enzymes, with the fiber in it. I'll take that any day over your pre-mixed stuff. So, but yeah, Planet Paleo I think they've got a banana. They've got a banana. Is it a banana and cinnamon flavor? So it goes really well with like a milk. You know, a big, thick, creamy milk.
Yeah. Okay.
Great bone broth.
Fabulous. I'm all over that. That's fantastic. Okay.
You'll like that company.
It sounds really, really fantastic. Why should people buy this book?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think you can read it in a day. It's not preachy, and I've done lists in there, so you don't even have to read it if you don't want to. There's just a few go-to shopping lists. So if you're really interested and you can't be bothered going through all the rigmarole that I went through, there's a load of shortcuts in there. There's a two-week reset as well. And bearing in mind, I'm from an alcoholic background. I'm an addict through and through. I was addicted to carbohydrates and sugars, as I was with alcohol. I knocked the alcohol on the head, and then I got the bloody carbs like mania on me. Of course I did. So if I know how to come off stuff like addiction and everything, trust me, that reset will reset your brain so you don't crave stuff. And that's the whole point, not craving, because craving is the worst feeling in the world. I hate craving. It's horrible. It takes over your thought process. You lie in bed thinking, I've got to have quavers. I mean, what's that? But it's a craving. And I've designed that reset because it worked for me. And, you know, I am addictive. You know, well, so yeah, I just hope it helps people, and it sort of like opens their eyes to a few new ideas that aren't necessarily out there. And if you do end up in a Chinese takeaway on a Saturday night, you know, don't worry about it. I've got your back. I know how to navigate that, and, you know, help you make some decisions so you don't feel hungry or hungover the next day from it. Yeah.
And the book, there's only 4 sections: mood, food, movement, and rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's so digestible, forgive the pun. But yeah, it's not overwhelming in the slightest. It's very
and the reason why I put mood at the beginning is because all movement begins in the brain. Your brain makes a decision whether you're taking a step towards the fridge or you're taking a step towards the front door with your trainers on. And if you feed this, your body will follow. So it's about making sure that this is intact, and what nutrition you're giving this, certain fats, certain, I mean, and I'm not talking like loads of veg here or anything. It's kind of the opposite. You know, serious nutrition. It'll stop the craving. And it's all chemistry, you know, that's what it is. But it's simple chemistry.
Absolutely amazing. Okay, last question. If you could put a billboard anywhere with anything on it, where would it go?
Oh,
and
right.
What would it say?
Well, it'd be on Sunset Boulevard, obviously, because they all zoom in there. And it would be, do not eat seed and veg oil. That's it. Just get it out. Read the label.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and peace. Yeah, peace on earth and all that.
And peace. Love, man. Yeah, amazing. Davinia, we've taken lots of your time. We're really
actually
grateful.
Matthew's done the bath, so it's it's worked out just well for me, because it's always
I got out of bath time as well.
Bloody row.
Well, listen, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank
really,
you.
really good. Good luck with the book. You're on the telly on Friday. Is that right?
Yes. I'm going to do it this morning. I'm going to go and see my mate Alison Hammond on there. Try and persuade her to, take up the challenge.
Well, listen, good luck with that. That's fantastic.
And let's just hope I don't swear. I didn't swear once, did I? I'm just trying to get into practice because live TV.
Not while we were on.
Bit of a potty mouth, you see. So.
Not while we were recording, so we're all right. Fantastic. Listen, keep up the good work. So good. Any problems with the dogs, give me a shout. And I'm going to say a really big thank you to you, Davinia, and to everybody watching. Keep your eyes on Instagram and Facebook. And the next time we find somebody as interesting as our friend Davinia, we will drag them along and pop lots of questions at them. So take care, guys. All the very best. And thank you for joining us. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Have a lovely evening.